So, I found this digital logic program made by Sebastian Log, and I thought it would be neat to try and make a computer with it. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing, but I know some of the essentials, so today what we're going to do is make a register that stores 4-bit numbers and instructions, and an adder to add 4-bit numbers. Then we can work from there. So, basically, you can place pieces here and see how they work, and you only start with an AND gate and a NOT gate. So I'll show you how these ones work, and then I recommend trying to figure out how to make the other ones yourself. AND gate is pretty simple, and it only makes an output if it gets two outputs that are on, and it can be represented with a truth table like this one. And then you have the NOT gate. It only takes in one output and just inverts it. It's very simple. Then you have a NAND gate, and it acts like an AND gate, but inverted. And then an OR gate works as long as any input is on, and a NOR gate is just an inverted OR gate. Then you have the most complicated one, probably, wacky. It's a XOR gate, and it basically only turns on if its inputs are different. So it's like an OR gate, but then if it gets two inputs that are the same, it'll turn off again. So it's kind of wacky. So those are basically the essential logic gates you really need. And I also made this little clock thing, which is pretty useful. But you can probably find plenty of tutorials to make it. I already forgot how I made it. And you can also go without this and just do it manually. And in fact, it's probably better to do it manually, but there's also a way to incorporate both methods, so I'd just do it that way. So, an important function of a computer is addition, and being able to add numbers is probably the first thing that I would want to make then. So on the smallest scale, this would be using a full adder, which is kind of a simple circuit that can do a lot more when more than we put together. So a full adder basically takes in the 2 bits you want to add and a carry, and then it produces its own sum and a carry. And so you can link about 4 of them together and add 4-bit numbers together. So once you're done, your full adder should look something like this. You can pause the video to try to build it. And here's a truth table for it. Before we continue, it might be beneficial to know how binary numbers actually work. Otherwise, how are you going to proof your binary adder, right? So, 4 bits here, right? We got bit 1, bit 2, bit 3, and bit 4. So, basically, 4 bits can represent any number from 0 to 16. And so, just like in decimal, how each digit, like 1, so however you increment it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but each number there is worth 5, and then the next digits, each number is worth 10, then 100, 1,000, right? And it goes up exponentially. Same thing for binary, kind of. So here, in order to store more numbers though, it starts with 1 place, right? So this is worth 1, but now this place is only worth 2, and so you can go 1, and then 2, then this one is worth 4, and this one's worth 8, and so it doubles each time instead of multiplying by 10. And so basically the number 1, for instance, would be 1000, like this. Number 2 would be 0100, and number 3 would just be these two are on, and then number 4 would be like that. So the simplest way to translate from binary over to decimal would just be to take whatever this is, right, whatever number it is, and then you would just want to add the value of each bit that is on together. So this is 8, right, and then you add 4, and then you add 1, and so this number is 13. Another neat trick is you can tell that any number is odd or even if the 1 bit here is on or off. Because if it's got this +1, it has to be odd. Otherwise, it's even. Right? So that's a cool thing. So if you take 4 1-bit adders and cascade them like so, and link them up together, now you have a 4-bit adder. And so this can be used to add 4-bit numbers. I would make a truth table for it, but if you just watch that last portion, you would know how to convert from binary to decimal. So apply that here, and bam, you can now add 4-bit numbers all on your own to test the worthiness of your 4-bit adder. The worthiness? To test your 4-bit adder. It's great. Yeah, try it. Do it. It's fun. It's ridiculously fun. Congratulations on making it halfway through the video. I applaud your abilities. Yeah. So now we're done with the addition segment, and we can begin the memory segment. So basically, first and smallest way to store a value on a computer is by using what is called a data latch. It takes in two signals, one to act as whatever bit needs to be stored, and another to store that bit. It will then hold that bit for as long as you need it to. And this is what that looks like. This data latch works excellently with itself, but if it were in a larger system, such as a computer, it would need to be synchronized with the rest of the system. While this may sound like a difficult thing to do not fear, as it can be done easily with a simple clock signal. What we need to do is create a data flip-flop. This will store data every time the clock turns on, but will not store the data while the clock remains on. This is what that looks like. Now, we may not want to store a bit on every clock pulse, so it will be beneficial to also incorporate a store signal. And the easiest way to do this is by adding an AND gate between the store signal and the clock, but apparently this can cause some strange issues, so it's better to do this wacky, complicated thing that it's called multiplexing, but I honestly have no idea exactly how it works. But yeah. And then this thing that you just made is actually a 1-bit register, and if you connect 4 of them together, you can create a 4-bit register. And so now you can store any number from 0 to 15 inside of one of your registers for later use. Very cool. Digit in your number can represent so I found this digital log. Then you have the most complicated one. It's like really wacky, but it's a XOR gate or an XOR gate, some people say, and it basically only turns on if its two inputs are the same. So not. Then you have the most complicated one, probably, like wacky. It's a XOR gate.